Hi everyone and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to show you how to draw the moon, and I worked on this recently and found it so much fun, so I wanted to share the process and hopefully help you out with this video. So as you can see, I used black paper for this. Specifically it's Canson black paper and it's 240 GSM. But I was thinking you don't have to use black paper, you could use any colours like maybe blue or purple. That could be really interesting. Along with that, for the drawing I used Koh-i-Noor soft pastels and some Faber-Castell coloured pencils, along with a Tombow mono eraser, which is a nice small eraser, and at the end I ended up using a white Sakura GellyRoll pen. But don't worry if you don't have these specific supplies, you can use anything, honestly, anything you can find will work perfectly and you'll be able to create something similar to this. This technique with the soft pastels is something I've been trying recently and I've been really enjoying, and I just wanted to share the process with you. As you can see, I began by drawing around a circular lid to get the outline of the moon, and I looked around the house for a bit to try and find the correct lid size for the size of the moon drawing I wanted to work on. And after that, I then used a light blue soft pastel, and I chose quite a nice warm blue for this, and I drew around the outside of the outline, and then eventually I blended the pastel, being sure to follow the circular outline. This stage isn't really required for the drawing, but I thought it would be awesome to try and add a glow around the moon. And after this part, I brought the lid back again and redrew the outlines, just to make sure they stood out on top of the pastel I'd added, and so I could start planning and sketching the moon's surface. Using a white Faber-Castell Polychromos pencil, I started sketching the surface of the moon, and I was making sure to look at some photo references, and I was trying to add some of the key features of the moon. So I was loosely holding the pencil and very lightly sketching. I wanted these lines to be relaxed and I didn't want to add too much pressure. These details I was sketching would be used as a guide where I was going to place the first layer of pastels, so I didn't expect much of this first sketch to show through anyway. When I was happy with the layout of the sketch, it was time to add a layer of soft pastel. And as mentioned earlier, I was using Koh-i-Noor soft pastels for this. You don't need to use pastels, you could just stick to coloured pencils if you wanted to. I used a white pastel along with a couple of grey pastels. One was a very light grey, and the other was more of a mid-tone. And I just started lightly blocking in some of the shapes. I then blended the soft pastel with my finger, trying to keep it within the outlines of the moon. That's the tricky thing with soft pastels, they can definitely be a bit messy. This time I used a white pastel pencil, and I began brightening up the moon's outline, and then started to define the details on the moon's surface, always checking back at the photo references. Making sure you have references next to you for a drawing like this really helps, especially in terms of accurately drawing the prominent features on the surface. I started adding lots of smaller details, and I had to make sure I kept the pencil lead nice and sharp, which can be tough with a pastel pencil because the lead is so soft. You just have to be a bit more careful with the amount of pressure you apply while drawing, and you do end up sharpening a bit more often than a regular pencil. After that, I used the small eraser, and I used it to darken some of the areas, adding more contrast against the bright highlights to define the shapes of the craters. Then I also started using a black Faber-Castell pencil to darken some of the areas even more. This part helps a lot. It helps to further define some of the shapes on the moon's surface. Some areas start to look a bit more 3D by placing dark shadows with the black pencil. And looking at photo references can be useful here too, seeing how the shadows define the craters. and I just continues to render and refine the details, switching between the white pastel pencil and the black and white Faber-Castell pencils, and using the regular white pencil was extremely helpful for defining even smaller shapes using a very sharp lead. Towards the end, I used a white GellyRoll pen to add some bright outlines around the outer edges of the moon, and then I used a warm grey pencil to add a slight outline between that and the soft pastel glow I added at the beginning, and that contrast hopefully helps to make it stand out on the page. Then I added a few more highlights with the white ink pen, and after that, this drawing was completed. I found this drawing so much fun, and I highly recommend giving it a try. And be sure to tell me if you do, I would love to see it. And I really hope this video helps out in some way. Please let me know what you think of it, and also let me know if you have any suggestions for future drawings or video ideas I should try, any art challenges or anything. Any suggestions really help. If you want to see more videos like this, then feel free to subscribe to my channel, and any likes or shares on this video are hugely appreciated. If you want to follow and support my drawing progress, then be sure to check out the links in the description for my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Patreon. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for the support. I really hope this helps out, and I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you all soon.